Bitcoin right now is struggling to get above this 20 exponential moving average as we've broken below this support level as we were in a trading range. Plus Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame has actually broken above the 20 EMA, now breaking above it again in the latest bar. So overall, we're going to be going over some support and resistance zones for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many altcoins. So make sure you're watching until the end of the video. Before I get started in the video, make sure to check out my trading masterclass in the video description and comment section, as it's currently 50% off and I go over everything that I know about trading. You can use the tools that I teach you to become an even more consistent trader. Looking right now at Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we've been in this sideways trading range, obviously now broken below. We were expecting a bit of a retest of at least this 20 EMA, so we're basically now moving sideways again in this direction, basically moving in another trading range. But since we have broken to the downside, we could be expecting even more downside momentum. So let's now figure out some potential support to resistance zones that we could be seeing on Bitcoin. To start looking at these support to resistance flips, let's begin on a longer term time frame so we can actually discover where the long-term trend is going and where the long-term trend support and resistance zones currently are through. So all through this area here, we made a good high. We also made a higher high. We then made another higher high. So this would have been the stop level if you're trading any positions in this area to the long side. And now in this area, we've actually made another higher high. So this area right through here is where the absolute low is. And if we were to break this level down in this area here, the market would actually be shifting from bullish to bearish. We're currently bullish because we have the 20 EMA pointing to the upside, especially on the weekly time frame, meaning that the long-term trend is pointing to the upside. Do you have this value zone, as I teach in my trading course, between the short-term EMA and the medium-term exponential moving average? When price comes into this area, like we were here, we had this strong uptrend. We came back to actually retest this area. We never actually closed below the 20 EMA. We did have price spiking below, and again, even through here when we had this nice solid uptrend all through this area, again, we came back into this area, never closed below, but definitely tried to push below. On that particular week, we did continue to the upside, and again, all through this area. So if we are expecting a bit of a downturn, that area would also be an area that people are looking for. Second would be all through this area. People would be trying to at least defend their positions through this area. So definitely expecting more upside momentum, higher potential for this than currently downside momentum. I'm not saying that their downside momentum is not going to come, but there's just higher probability at this current point that we do have continued upside momentum. Every time we've come above the 20 EMA, come back to retest it, this has been a positive retest and then continuation to the upside. So can only look to the left, see what's happened, and then continue for that in the future. If we look at Ethereum on a shorter term time frame, again, all through this area, you can look at the slope of the EMA. The slope of the EMA tells you which direction the market is trending. And all through this area, we had this downwards trending market. Every time we come back to the 20 EMA, although we do have spikes above, we have big rejections, and see again all through this area rejecting to the downside, using the value zone specifically as rejections to the downside. One thing I'd like to point out is definitely in this latest area through here, we were finally getting some closes above the 20 EMA. You can look at all through this region here. We basically never closed above. We did a little bit here. We did actually close above it in this area, but instant rejection. And in this area has been the first time that we've been at least over this EMA for over a day. So we can say, and we're still trying to poke above it currently. So overall, it's potentially showing that the overall market momentum is shifting. You can even see that the EMA is starting to go sideways. So you can begin to see that potentially this long downwards momentum that we had here for the last couple of days hopefully is over. There is some momentum to say that it is over. You definitely could be taking trades in these areas. I'd be looking for most likely a high probability. But even look now, when we look at the daily time frame, you can see that we are in a potential support area because we made a 1, 2, 3 push to the upside. We're basically in this channel. If we slightly open it up, even just through here, you can see just connecting this high, this low, and just projecting it across. You know, this one was actually supporting. We had this tiny close below. Now we're continuing to the upside. So potentially, again, we are in that overall long-term bottom type of this trading range. I'm always talking about buying in the bottom 25% of the range and selling in the top 25% of the range. So overall, we are in that bottom 25%, and that's why it does make sense to definitely be taking some trades in this area. You have your maximum 3% risk. Even on this trade, need to have 1.7, let's call it 2% risk. Let's say we're looking at this top 25% region up in this area here. So if we look, we're risking that 2% on the trade. We're looking at this area potentially at around that 6%, could even push it closer to 8% depending on how high you want to go. Let's just be extremely conservative at this region and say 6%. So you put that 2% risk on, you put a 3% reward on, 6% reward on, all of a sudden you've got a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio on a trade that, let's even call it 30 to 40% win ratio. If you were to plug those numbers in the trader's equation, which I teach in my trading course, you would find that you still have positive expectancy. Meaning, if you were to take this exact trade 100 times, not just one time, but 100 times, you would find that over the long term, you might lose on this trade, you might lose on the next trade, but all of a sudden you win the next 2 trades, and all of a sudden you're up a complete 6% on the entire trading strategy. And that's why you need to let the actual trading strategy develop. That's why you have your own trading journal, which again, I show and teach and actually give you in my trading course. I give you my own trading journal because you need to be actually journaling all of your trades, journaling how each one is actually doing. Was it a win? Was it a loss? After you've done a few trades, you can all of a sudden compile those trades that were all trading channels slightly to the upside. And you can actually begin to see what's your win rate on the strategy, because before you even trade, you're not really sure what the win rate is. I can tell you that it's at least 40% on this particular trade. Reason being is because I've taken so many trades. I've got my trading journal. If I need some information, I go there and actually look, well, when I've taken this particular trade in this particular direction, how's it actually worked out? How does this strategy work out after 50 trades? Is it as profitable? Is it as high percentage as I thought before? And that's why you really need to be doing basically your homework when you're trading. It's not about just looking at the chart and just being going, yes, this is a great area to buy, this is a great area to sell. You need to be understanding why and also have some information to back all of that up. Even looking at Dogecoin on the weekly time frame, I just made a video of that, so make sure to actually check that out on my channel. I've been talking about, we're right at the bottom of the overall channel for Dogecoin. We're basically down 90, close to 91% on overall Dogecoin. So basically, you're looking at this region. If you're looking to buy, truly now is the only real time. This is obviously not financial advice. This is just something, this is really only for entertainment purposes and just something that I'm personally doing. But it's at the bottom of its range. It's either going to go to 0 or we're going to come back and actually retest the top of the range for Dogecoin up in this area here. So truly, I do think there's a lot of potential for Dogecoin. I don't think it's going to go to 0. I think people like Elon Musk, especially with having the actual founder of Dogecoin being a massive Twitter influencer and actually speaking back and forth with Elon Musk, I believe that even if they were to come into massive trouble, Elon Musk would come in and actually support Dogecoin. He makes so many memes. He posted one the other day. So that's a video that you should definitely check out because I go over it in more detail. But overall, we're starting to break above the 20 EMA, which is starting to shift the overall EMA to begin to go sideways, because obviously if we scroll out a little bit, we can see we had a massively downtrending EMA, obviously showing that we had much more continuation to the downside now for the last, basically since October. So basically for 40 bars, so nearly a year, we've basically been going sideways, which has been showing in the EMA. So Dogecoin looking very, very interesting. Even coming over and looking at Binance Coin, even looking at the weekly time frame. Again, it is in this bottom section. There's been a lot of support in these areas, support. So it's either really going to have a massive drop off to the downside or potentially going to be continue ranging in this area. Even looking at Litecoin, truly, I do really like the weekly time frame. A lot of people might like to trade the 5-minute time frame, the 15-minute time frame. That's good, but you need to be looking at what the long-term direction is. You need to scroll out, look at what the weekly is doing. Okay, it shows me right now, if I was to trade Litecoin, that overall we have an uptrending market. We've been having some rejections to the upside and rejections to the downside. Overall, we're basically in a sideways trading range, just slightly tilted to the upside. People are buying in these bottom sections, people are selling in these top sections. And what's actually happening right now, we're in the value zone and we're right nearly basically at the bottom 25% of the channel. So if I was to be trading Litecoin, I'd be looking for long positions to the upside, because we've got confluence of this long and uptrending exponential moving average. We're now in the value zone, actually poking below the 20 EMA. We're also in the bottom 25% of this overall channel. So there's two strategies that are sort of showing confluence in this area. Overall, I'd be looking for longs, and then I'd now move to like a 15-minute time frame or a 30-minute time frame to really, get in tactically to actually figure out how I'm going to get into my position, what's my risk, what's my reward, and all those types of things. So if you'd like, make sure to check out my trading masterclass in the description of this video. It is currently 50% off, and it's not going to be 50% off forever. So make sure to check that out. And if you'd like to continue watching these free videos on YouTube, click the video that's currently on the screen to continue the trading journey.